I used to live a double life. On one side was my gym life, on the other side was my spiritual life. They were in two completely separate boxes. The gym was for my body, for this world, the dunya. Prayer was for my soul, for the next world, the akhirah. I'd rush from a workout straight to a prayer, treating them like two different jobs on a checklist. One for my health, one for my creator. But then a question hit me that wouldn't let go. What if I've been looking at this all wrong? What if the strength I'm building in the gym could fuel the strength of my Iman? It felt like a contradiction. I mean, we're taught to detach from worldly things. But then I remembered the words of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A strong believer is better and more beloved to Allah than the weak believer. That hadith made the question unavoidable. How could something so physical, and let's be honest, sometimes ego-driven, be a path to becoming a strong believer, beloved to Allah? So I decided to run an experiment. I didn't change my workouts. I changed my approach. I started treating my gym routine not as a physical task, but as a potential act of worship. And I wanted to see if changing my intention could change the outcome, not just for my body, but for my soul. My journey didn't start with a new workout plan. It started by unpacking that powerful hadith. For a long time, I thought that strong meant strong faith, and that is the foundation. But as I looked deeper, I found scholars explaining that true Iman pushes a believer to be strong in all aspects of life. Why? Because a strong, healthy body is a powerful asset for someone trying to live their faith. Islam doesn't split life into spiritual and physical, it's all connected. And that's where the idea of an amana, a sacred trust, really hit me. Our bodies aren't truly ours, they're a trust from Allah, loaned to us for a short time. The Quran says, وَلَا تُلْقُوا بِأَيْدِيكُمْ إِلَى التَّهْلُكَةِ, and do not throw yourselves with your own hands into destruction. Scholars have explained that this isn't just obvious dangers, but the slow destruction that comes from neglect. It reminds me of the urgent advice of the Prophet ﷺ when he said to take advantage of 5 things before 5, and one of them being your health before your sickness. Health is a resource, a blessing we're meant to use before it's gone. Suddenly taking care of this body through good food, rest, and exercise wasn't a distraction from my deen, it was a responsibility. It was an act of gratitude, it was honoring a sacred trust. That realization changed everything. That hour in the gym wasn't taken away from my deen, it was part of it. My workouts started feeling like less of a chore for my body and more like a service to my soul. With this new lens, my workouts began to transform. It all came down to one word: niyyah, intention. We all know the famous hadith, actions are judged by intention, and every person will get the reward according to what they intended. So before each workout, I started asking myself, why am I really doing this? Is it to look good, to impress people, or is there something deeper? I began making a quiet intention. Oh Allah, I'm doing this to care for the body you entrusted me with, so I can worship you better, serve others better, and be a strong believer. That simple shift was profound. The clanging of weights was no longer just noise, it was the sound of strengthening my resolve for Allah. The burn in my muscles wasn't just pain, it was a reminder of my effort to honor His trust. The discipline of the gym started to mirror the discipline of faith. The drive to show up on days you don't feel like it, that's the same consistency needed for the 5 daily prayers. That mental grit to push through one more difficult rep, that's training your mind to push past spiritual obstacles. And maybe most importantly, fitness teaches patience. Progress is slow. This process teaches you to trust in gradual growth and keep striving. The very definition of sabr, so central to building strong Iman. And this is where it all stopped being theoretical for me. Not in the gym, but on the prayer mat. For years, long prayers were a struggle. During Taraweeh or Qiyam, my back would ache, my knees would burn, and my focus would drift. My own physical discomfort was a barrier between my heart and my Creator. But once I consciously connected my workouts to my worship, the physical noise started to quiet down. I could stand longer in prayer, not just through willpower, but because my body wasn't fighting me anymore. My sujood felt more settled, more present. And because my body wasn't screaming for relief, my mind finally had the space to focus on the words I was reciting and the one I was standing before. That's when it hit me. A healthy body isn't just about comfort, it's a vehicle for worship. Even science backs this up. Regular exercise improves mental clarity, reduces stress, and strengthens focus. All of that mental noise that clouds the heart begins to fade. That calm and clarity you feel after a good workout, it creates the perfect internal environment for khushu, for deep, focused devotion. Thinking about the life of the Prophet ﷺ, this connection made even more sense. He wrestled champions, he walked with purpose, and he led wars. He even encouraged sports like archery, swimming, and horseback riding. For him and the companions, strength wasn't about appearance, it was about capability. A strong body allowed them to worship better, serve their community, and endure life's hardships with steadfastness. But the most profound impact wasn't just on the prayer mat. It was how this strength spread into the rest of my life. The energy and resilience I built in the gym didn't stay there. It came home with me. I had more patience with my family after a demanding day. I was more present and engaged, not just physically there. When a friend needed help moving or a community member needed support, I had the physical and mental capacity to show up fully and without reservation. This is where the true meaning of a strong believer clicked into place. Strength isn't just for physical devotion, it's for being a pillar for others. Think about it. A person who is constantly exhausted is in survival mode, just trying to get through their day. But a strong believer has a reserve, a physical, mental, and emotional capacity that allows them to serve. They can be a source of stability for their family, a dependable force in their community, an active contributor to the ummah. Suddenly, your strength is no longer just about you. It becomes an amana, a trust that you can use to lift others up. And using that gift to serve the creation is one of the highest forms of worshiping the Creator. So, does exercise really strengthen your Iman? My answer is yes, but only with the right intention. Exercise by itself doesn't automatically bring you closer to Allah. If it's driven by vanity, comparison, or ego, it can quietly feed the nafs and become just another worldly distraction. But when it's rooted in niyyah, when that workout is done to honor the amana of your body, that's when everything changes. It's no longer about how you look, but what that strength allows you to do. To worship with more focus, to stand longer before Allah, to serve your family and community with energy and presence. I started this journey thinking I was exploring a contradiction, but then I discovered the contradiction was never in Islam, but in my perspective. My gym life and my spiritual life aren't two separate worlds anymore. They're both paths to the same goal, becoming a better servant of Allah. Islam doesn't ask us to reject our physical selves to grow spiritually. It invites us to take the ordinary parts of our lives and elevate them into acts of worship. So the real question isn't whether exercise can strengthen your Iman. The real question is, what is your intention behind it? If this was a beneficial reminder, share it with someone who might need to hear it. And for more reflections on how our faith connects to everyday life, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's remember that our bodies are both a blessing and a responsibility. They're the vehicles through which we worship Allah and serve others in this life. May Allah grant us all strength in our Iman, our character, and our bodies. May He accept all our efforts, big and small, as sincere acts of worship. Ameen.